Hey guys, and welcome to part 3 of my Keenan Cornelius study. Let's jump right into it. For starters, actually, I apologize for the second video. I didn't realize that my camera cuts out after about 30 minutes, so I set a timer so I can just keep going, splice it together if indeed I go longer than 30 minutes, which I almost certainly will. So let's take a look at more Keenan matches. He recently competed at Grappler's Quest. Not recently, but fairly recently. It was advanced to brown, I think. Let's see what... Let's do this one. Pick one at random. Let me see the start of the match here. So Keenan pulling guard in the same manner as before, grabbing the collar and sitting to the guard position. And here we're seeing him work the same configuration of his arms. Let me up the resolution a little bit. It's a little bit slow. We'll wait for the higher resolution. That's okay. You see him working the same arm position that we were talking about with his hands behind his legs and keeping his feet in close to his body. So his opponent is making grips on his ankles here, and Keenan is going to use that opportunity of him trying to grab his feet to make the grips. So there's the grips there, and he's working the feet on the bicep. Oh, right there, we saw an overhead sweep attempt, which is a pretty good sweep attempt. So it's a number of times we've seen it. Keenan has a double sleeve control, and he's trying to take him all the way over the top to create some opportunities for submissions or a sweep. So a closed guard here, or at least semi-closed guard. Before, against Majid, we saw him use the closed guard. He was working arm locks. He was working an arm drag, potentially for the back or the sweep. And we saw him working the overhead sweep. The overhead sweep seems to be his primary attacking method from the closed guard. So let's see if he works it here. Or he can just transition to the open guard. This is interesting. It shows me that he wasn't really too intent on attacking the closed guard position. This is kind of a little bit annoying for the top guy, that leg configuration. And here we're working the lasso. So let's see what comes of it here. Working the De La Hiva. He grabs the collar. A nice sweep. Let's get another look at it. Right there. What Keenan did, I want you to watch Keenan's left arm, because that's an important part of this sweep. So he's grabbing something else, the sleeve from here. So he's pulling with a collar and sleeve, what it looks like. We don't have the correct angle. He's pulling down, making his opponent drive his weight backwards. And when the opponent drives the weight backwards, what's happened is he's going to essentially do a technical stand-up. But it looks like there's some cool details here. So he's going to put his left hand on the ground, right there. Now, take a look at this once De La Hiva hook. He's going to do a technical stand-up, but with his left leg here, he's going to fold it backwards and suck out his opponent's base using that leg. And then once he sucks it out, you can use, it doesn't look like he is right now, but you can use that hand and the collar to punch your opponent to solidify the position. In my experience with this version of the sweep, you have to be a little bit careful about a quick arm drag from this position because your hand's on the wrong side lapel. As my training partners got better with this sweep, that was something that I needed to be a little bit careful with. So I immediately like to adjust my arm position in this one. Let's get another look at that sweep because it was a really nice sweep. Right here he grabs the collar. His opponent gives the energy away. Hand on the ground, foot under, and kicking and getting that sweep. So here we're in a knee slice position. It's kind of interesting. I just talked about that arm drag, but that's because I wasn't going into this version here, which we see Keenan active posting on the ground, and we have the hand and the collar up here. So it looks like he's going to work a knee slice with cranking his face to control his ability to turn into him. Because when you're knee slicing like this, you don't want the opponent to turn too much because he can go to turtle and you can kind of lose the position. So what you do with that right hand grip is you open it up into the opponent's face so he can't turn into you too effectively. And this hand right here is being used for base. Yeah, look, you see a little bit of what I was talking about, of using that hand to turn his face towards the camera. And it's really nice. Look at the reaction that he's getting. Is his opponent is pushing away, so you can tell it's really bothering him. If I was Keenan, I would definitely continue to do that, because when he's trying to push it away, it's very difficult to just push away. All it does is it shows you how much it's bothering. So Keenan's looking to continue the knee slice. Look at how he's flaring that elbow out like that. He's past the knee now, so it's pretty aggressive on this part. He's really, really cranking that face. Now, that was pretty cool. I think over any video that we've seen this far, which we've seen a lot of long stepping in the Gianni match, we saw a little bit of long stepping from the Abu Dhabi. We're getting a lot more information on his passing here. So knee slicing, it was new. We haven't seen the knee slice. So as his opponent was turning a little bit on his side, what Keenan did is start to cut the knee to the other direction. Let's take a look at that. So look how his opponent, I guess he's not on his side too much, cutting back to the other side and going into like the quarter guard position. There we saw the long step to finish. So that's a pretty cool. We're definitely getting the system down now. Is that long step to kind of finish out that knee slice. Let's get another look at that. So here, let's see what factors allowed him to do that. So he's got a pretty standard quarter guard. Let's see how Keenan frees that leg. We'll try and play it in slow motion. Essentially, he just kind of does your standard long step. He goes over this way and swings it back. Now let's look at the controls that Keenan has with his grips. It looks like he's controlling the knee. So he did let go of that face cranking position. Now he's going to try and control this leg so the knee can't come in and stay tight. Let's kind of see what takes place. It looks like it's a long match. And I'm primarily interested at this point in his guard passing and guard and stand-up strategies. So it looks like we're about to see a transition. So let's just ride it out. Working the north-south. He's trying for a knee on belly. And we saw that sequence before. We saw that knee on belly against Gianni, where he goes knee on belly and then dives for the back and gets the choke. Yeah, look, he's trying to come around the back here. It just didn't work out. Didn't get the right energy for that same type of sequence that we saw against Gianni. It's getting a little high. So, like I said, very aggressive style attacks from the back and not too concerned about losing the position. Just keep attacking until the opponent folds. He's very high. He'll need to get lower. Or maybe come out with an armbar here. We saw him just fall off like against Gianni, yeah. He's working the arm lock from this position and just kind of looked like it just gave it up. He felt like it wasn't there. He gave it up. Same thing. Same exact sequence. So right now, if Keenan Cornelius has my back, I'd probably try and buck him off the top, because he doesn't seem to be the mind. Because look, this 9-0. He's going to have to try something fairly drastic to win here. So Keenan's sitting up. So it's that Keenan shell, Keenan turtle shell, I'll call it, doesn't seem to be only from when the opponent has no grips. He'll sit up. We saw it previously as well. The opponent working a cartwheel pass. Keenan's adapting with his hand position and catches the close guard. Obviously, he's wise to the cartwheel pass. That was a nice anticipation. So the close guard here, what I like to do is I like to just pull down with my legs and get him to base with his hands and make grips from this position. He's just looking to make grips. Keenan is that, for that matter. You can grab the lapel too and pull him close towards you. So if you're looking for grips, the grips come to you. Yeah, look at that. The 2-on-1 with the lapel is kind of interesting. He's opening up the lapel with this hand. He pulled him down, so look how he's within range a little bit now, and he's working the collar in. It's a lot of control, the double lapel grip, and it kind of bears a little bit of similarity between his open guard with that lapel spider. You see sometimes him working the 2-on-1 with the lapel as he's passing grips. So right here, what he's doing is he noticed his opponent's base was a little bit too narrow. Let's take a look at it again. And he's dropping the closed guard around his legs. I anticipate he's going to use the control of the lapel to make a disbalance, because you can disbalance your opponent either way. Traditionally, the sweep is done with some sort of control of the arm. So when you disbalance him, he doesn't have any arms to post with. Let's get another look, because let's see if his opponent indeed stood a little bit too narrow. It's not looking too narrow here. He looks like it just wasn't bow. Like if you bow out your knees a little bit and he goes for that sweep, then you can maybe prevent the lock from collapsing in, because what he was able to do with his long legs is collapse his opponent's knees in. So now he's pulling forward, disbalancing. Look, his opponent based here. He'll need to remove that to clear the sweep. So opponent looking like he's trying to free his knee on the ground here and make some base. Keenan released the grip on the collar, and he's grabbing that sleeve right now. And he pulls it out and gets, it looks like he's going to get the sweep into a single leg X position. Right here he's got to watch his ankle and watch the sweep this way. So let's see how he deals with that. Right now it looks like he's dealing with that with the hand and the collar. An interesting similarity to how he counters the deep half guard against Gianni with that hand and the collar to prevent him from losing his base back that way. I think Keenan's going to maybe want to try and remove this leg. I'm not sure if I saw it in the video analysis or I've just seen it in Keenan in general, but I noticed he likes to try and remove this and just literally just butt flop over into the mount, which kind of matches his style from passing. You know, we saw kind of the I mentioned the Mark Hunt atomic butt drop passing and submission style. Come on, Keenan, do it. Make me look good. Kind of. I'll take half credit on that one. So he gets out of the position by almost trying to step over the leg, step over this hook that was here, and then almost working into a knee slice position and using his grip on the in the lapel as in a similar fashion that we saw the knee slice. It's almost like he jumped into like an awkward knee slice position right here and is getting used this to turn him back towards the ground. Yes, and that's how you establish from that knee slice pass, is that when you pass from the knee slice, the one we saw earlier when they were over on this side of the match, you establish by kind of jumping knee on belly, because it is a slightly awkward position for the arm once you pass the side control. And in my experience, jumping to the knee on belly is the best way to kind of help establish that position. Keenan getting some good... Wait, I'm noticing something interesting here. Hang on. I thought it was a forefinger in grip. That's a forefinger in grip. It looked like he almost switched it to a thumb in grip. Yeah, he switched it, and I saw his knuckles on top. I should go and rewind and see if that's a thumb in grip, because that's kind of interesting. You can generate a lot of the blade of the arm down as the other side. So when I've been doing that pass in that manner, I've been using a forefinger in grip. And that's kind of something that's interesting. By the way, I watched my own video one time through on part 1 and part 2, and it just staggered me how much I missed this type of thing when I was watching through it. And I was just like watching myself and going, how did you miss that? For example, one thing I found very interesting in the Gianni match, when he stepped over the leg. Let me see if I can call it up. Let's go back to YouTube. And just as an example, this was one example that I found really interesting. It was so minor. It was like a little gripping thing like that. That's what triggered my memory. Let's do Keenan. It was on the first page, if I remember correctly. Yeah. When he stepped over that leg and when Gianni disbalanced forward, I found it fascinating, the grip that he used, because it's just different from what I'm used to. And it's little things like that where video analysis are very interesting to me, because you know, a little gripping difference can really make a big difference in your game. It was right in the beginning, so let's just start from the beginning. And it was Keenan controlling the shoulder as opposed to the chest. It seems small, but to me that's the biggest thing. So look, when he stepped over, he put the hand up on the shoulder area, which I found was fascinating. I was more paying attention at the time to what Gianni was doing. Look, as he steps over, that grip. That's something that's a little unfamiliar to me, and I think you instantly understand why he's doing it when you watch. Forgive the resolution; it's a little slow, and I don't want to spend too much time on this particular match again. That hand right there, that's something I'm going to play with for sure. But there were there's at least 10 things that I saw that were like that upon watching my own video, which I will include maybe in the final kind of sum up when I go back and look at all the techniques that I've observed and study them in greater detail, as opposed to a first impression like I'm doing here. So we're working knee on belly position. Let's see what kind of takes place. I'm going to go ahead and skip. It looks like his opponent is able to recompose. Skip out. Because I'm not really interested in studying the submission game, like I said earlier, of Keenan. I'm more interested in the guard play and the takedowns and the stand-up and the strategy aspect. I pretty much already know that Keenan's really good at finishing. So we'll wait a little bit for this video to buffer. My internet seems to be going a little slow. Interestingly enough, my building is not wired for internet or phone or gas or anything like that. It's kind of a ugly duck building, so I'm using 4G internet here at my academy, which at times is a little bit frustrating, as you can see. Alright, we're back, guys. Sorry it froze quite extensively. And I can see that there's a little sunspot up here because the shot is backlit, but I guess you guys will do. So here it looks like his opponent is about to recover the guard position, which is exciting. I was kind of rooting for his opponent to recover guard as much as possible, because those are the matches where we get to see the most depth out of people. So opponent's working reverse de la Riva. Let's see if Keenan incorporates a long step pass from here, because this is the opposite side. He's clearly favoring passing towards this way, and it looks like he's moving over this way. Yeah, he clearly is. So that's his stronger side. And it's something that you see a lot of competitors do, like for example Romulo Barral. He's always going to knee slice on this side. Here we go. We saw the same passing style before against Gianni, which is, let's call it the Leandro Lo passing style, which is he has control of both legs, postures up, throws the leg to the side, and he's going to work to control the position. Let's see that a few times. So he got those grips from the reverse de la Riva guard. I'm almost certain that if his opponent had played reverse de la Riva guard on the other side, we would have seen him enter his long step passing series. But on the weak side, we'll call it the weak side, he's making both grips, locking back to his strong side and taking advantage of the grips that he has now when he's working on the strong side. So he faked one way first. He faked one way. Let's take a look at it to understand the nuance of it. Yeah, that two-part Toreando pass. Very Leandro Lo-like. He's trying to grab up an arm here. Get the back. This is a very solidified back position. Arm is across the chin here. It looks like his opponent gets out. I'm going to skip ahead. Yay! Good job, Sean. I get to study a little bit more of the guard here. So we're in the Keenan shell, looking to make grips again. Double underhooks. Alright, so cool. So we're seeing the return of this. So if he had just finished his opponent right then and there, I wouldn't have got to see this in yet another match. Is that double underhooks, he's going first for that choke right away. I don't think he's going to get it because look at the gi. He's kind of like Beavis and Butthead, Cornholio type of thing, where he can't get the gi right into where he'd like. He's trying to adjust it downwards. He needs to push that gi back a little bit. He might get it. We're approaching the end of the match. By the way, Keenan, sorry I cut out right before your submission on the Gianni video. It's kind of awkward where if I had done a study on like Hodger, there's no chance on earth that Hodger was going to watch my video. American grapplers, a little bit more likely to do that, I think. Doesn't look like the choke's going to happen. Oh, here, sitting up and grabbing the belt. Now this is a pretty cool position. When they start to get too low and too sprawled out, this is an excellent, excellent counter for the double underhooks. We saw this Buchecha do this to Bernardo Faria. And he was able to get to the back. He did it more in like a hip bump style. Let me see if I can do that. I think I posted actually a class of me teaching that specific sequence online. So I'll just go to that exact class. Cool, let's pause it right there because that's a pretty cool parallel between the two. Let me log in. See if I can do this quickly. So much for quickly, huh? But it's worth it, I think. It's worth it to kind of see the parallels between these two matches. And it's Bernardo Faria versus Buchecha analysis. I probably could have Googled it just the same. Oh, cool. Buchecha versus Bernardo Faria. And let's go to the analysis portion of it. It's not turning out as well in the video as I had hoped. I can barely see it, and more or less on the camera you guys can barely see it too. So here's Buchecha, double underhook, grab the belt. He kind of like hip bumps and comes on top. He gets around to the back, and he does like this brutal, brutal knee on belly position that looked like it hurt. You could see Bernardo's face on this knee on belly that right here. Oh, right on the side. He was making a pretty... looked like he was in a lot of pain on that knee on belly. Buchecha is not a small man. So let's take a look again on this. So Buchecha is about to roll and recover the guard, and he gets Bernardo's able to get double underhooks, and Bernardo's a great, great double underhooks passer. He's one of the best ones because his sweep, it comes on top in the double underhooks. Right here. Now watch, Buchecha grabs the belt. He gets up, almost like hip bumps him, and gets on top. Hope that was worth the wait. You can study that one. It looks like 2013. So let's go back to this sequence, and let's take a look at the similarities that Keenan had between this here. He didn't put his arm on the ground. He's just kind of folding, and he didn't use like the hip bump variation as much as Buchecha did, but still very cool nevertheless. On an arm lock here, and it looks like he finishes it. Good job, Keenan. He's gonna get mad for me cutting out the right before the submission. Anyways, let's go on to. He just competed this last weekend at the 5 grappling. Let's do Keenan 5. And let's take a look at one of his matches from this. Let me up the resolution there. My internet is going very slow right now, and I can talk a little bit as it buffers. So no-gi doesn't interest me as much. I just like it a little less. So we'll look at one no-gi match here, because I remember some interesting things happen from it. Here, Keenan pulls guard right away, and what you see him do is you see him wrap up the ankle in this position. It's almost like you're double underhooking the guy. Here, he's already advanced his leg position. Let's see if I can go back just a hair and see if we can dissect this. If I need to lower the resolution so I can provide more thoughtful dissection, I'll do that. But I'd prefer not to. Let's try going one down. So in this position, what he's going to do is he's going to wrap up the ankle, and he's going to put in his butterfly hook right here. And what that does is it allows this leg to generate a lot of pressure to disbalance in this direction over in this space here. Also, if your leg comes behind the knee, as he falls down, you can actually get a knee bar there, which is a pretty sneaky and cool knee bar. Yeah, he wraps it up, the ankle, and then he puts in the hook, and then chops down with his leg. Now, with this particular leg attack, you can use this grip where he's using here. He's grabbing his own wrists right here. It's like a rear naked choke grip, but it's really not. And Benny's somebody that I've trained with from white till now. He's one of my closest training partners, hence my reason for wanting to analyze this video, actually. He trains a lot with Edwin Najmi when he's preparing for gi tournaments. So he's retired from the gi. But he has a lot of experience in these type of ankle locks. And I'll draw a parallel on this type of ankle lock to Edwin and to Kyotera as well, because he likes similar ankle locks. I guess Edwin would have similar ankle locks to the Kyotera, not the other way around. But it's still kind of cool, because I think these style of ankle locks is something that's very interesting. I see it as the low-hanging fruit of the next big evolution in Jiu-Jitsu, which is leg attacks. And we've seen some very interesting leg attacks develop within the rule sets of like IBJJF, because its limitations almost force creativity. It's kind of interesting. So what Benny does is he takes his foot and he kicks Keenan's foot as he turns. So watch Benny's foot. He takes it and he kicks on the inside right there, right here, and he kicks out and is out of the position. I'd like to show you a very similar setup between Edwin Najmi. I spelled that wrong, I think. I think it was versus Ram from Cobrinhas. Yeah, it's right here. We'll go to the end. And I see a lot of competitors, I'm not talking about Ram specifically, but I see a lot of competitors kind of be a little bit more unfamiliar with leg attacks, and it makes it a little bit easier for ankle lock specialists. So what you see here is we're in the De La Riva guard. He grabs the ankle just like you would in De La Riva guard, but what he did right there, I believe it was right there, is he brought his hand on his belly, so it's on the inside, and as opposed to the outside. He's not hugging his own leg like we saw Gianni do, like we saw Keenan do in one of his other matches, and then using this pressure of your leg to disbalance. Now look, Edwin did something pretty cool here, is that he kept his hook in a little bit longer. Go ahead and try this. Actually, be the bad guy in this position if you have somebody. Get in that position and see how difficult it is to move, because you're controlling the guy's foot, so he can't step out very easily, and then you have this hook in very active and he can't move, and oftentimes his own movement sweeps him on his side. So working in this position, he eventually does get the finish. I think he removes the hook. Yeah. And he goes just a more classic belly down ankle lock finish. So this is one that Kyotera is really known for. I think it's one of Kyo's probably signature techniques. In the European no-gi. Here we go. Auto-filled for me, thank you. We can take a look at a few of these techniques and draw parallels in Keenan's game. Perhaps he's influenced by Kyotera as well. This one's 55 seconds long, so we can just watch the whole thing. Let's make it bigger. So he pulls guard. We're almost in a double guard pull situation. Pretty standard. Look how Kyle's hugging his leg. So it's all standard. Look how he's flaring the knee up. You know, a no-gi adaptation. You know, pulling the knee. It's very interesting. And watch, right there. You seeing his arm? It goes. It's tricky to get the hand out of that position into that ankle locking position. But this is essentially the same thing. But it's increased in power and control when you have the De La Riva hook in. Harder to set up, mind you. And ends up finishing the ankle lock right there. I'd like to show one more if you don't mind. We'll skip ahead just a hair. This one's about the same length from Caio Terra. We'll give it a second. What are we at? Like 10p on this 144. Let's go to at least 360 because this is too grainy to make anything out of it. And it's something that's interesting, talking a little bit more about Caio, is that I think many of his opponents, not to undermine any of these guys here, but I think many of his opponents just aren't aware at the lower level. The higher level guys that he's competing against know. But I think at the lower level, they aren't just like understanding the attacks that are going on. Look, same setup. He's able to wrap it up right away. Kind of slips up, slips out. Here he has the cross grip on the sleeve. Rolls again. Now watch right there. He kind of brought his hips up and got that arm position going again to the knee. That's a pretty cool variation because look, he put the foot in this position. But his opponent doesn't want to go this way. He doesn't want to go in this space. So he leans this way. And look, his leg becomes really light. He has no weight on his leg. And this is similar to the Keenan position here. And where the De La Riva hook isn't in. So he comes so far over this way that what Caio does is he grabs the ankle and does it like a double ankle sweep. And then here, this is his leg is very short in this position. You need short legs to finish the ankle lock. Not literally short. I'm talking about a concept of shortening the leg. And you can just arch backwards. You don't need to finish on your side. So right there, he gets almost a tap and then a real tap. So some interesting parallels with Keenan potentially incorporating some elements from Caio's game. I sincerely doubt it's from Edwin Najmi's game. But you see a lot of up-and-comers like Keenan, like Edwin, using this style. Look how he's laced it up here once more, chopping downward and then working. Now, for having trained with Benny, I know that he has rubber ankles in terms of straight ankle locks and frees himself out. Anyways, I just remember that from the tournament. I just wanted to include that one as well. Let's do one more. Let's just analyze one at random. Let's just do Keenan Cornelius. And we'll go to maybe the second page, I think. I think we got all the ones that I wanted to. We already saw him compete against Morris Ayala at black belt. That's a brown belt one. The Jiu-Jitsu Expo one's been overdone. Jackson Souza, everybody's kind of caught on to that match. So let me find one that I might find interesting. I don't want to do any of the Meow ones, because I feel like I've seen those 100 times already. Let's choose maybe another one from Grappler's Quest. Looks like I'm not the only one analyzing Keenan, which is kind of depressing. It makes me feel not unique. Oh, this one's kind of cool. Finals of that Grappling Quest. I do remember hearing about this match a little bit in people complaining about the referee and such. But Matthews is somebody that I've heard about as well. People are really give him a lot of props, as well they should. Anyways, it came in at a random point in this match, and it looks like Keenan's already working that knee slice again. So it looks like we get to see a little bit more from Keenan. And against somebody high level, I notice his matches are a little bit more interesting to watch. We should have a PayPal account to get internet connection in here. It's a little bit faster. I'm kidding. Don't send me any money. I don't want money. Hopefully the quality improves throughout this. So I see Matt probably wanting to pull guard being a Marcelo guy. And he pulls half guard here. Keenan's working the same exact strategy as before, where he's getting the face crank in, and he's cranking that face over and working the knee slice position. Here it's a little different because Matt has the leg. He's hugging onto that leg, and he can use it for any number of purposes. If I was Matt at this point, I'd probably would be wanting to feed the lapel. That's probably the best grip, is feeding the lapel. If you can't grab the lapel, feeding the belt underneath to that grip, which would be a pretty good idea from that spot. And look, he's using almost like he's using reverse De La Riva guard to disbalance him forward. He was kicking with that leg. Keenan looking like he's stripping a grip. Yeah, Matt was probably controlling Keenan's grip on that side, but we didn't have a very good angle for that. Finally we get some better resolution on this. Now I'd like to take a further look at Keenan's grip here, because I'm really curious to see if he's using that thumb and grip. It doesn't look like now. It looks like his elbow is pointed out towards us here, so it doesn't look like the angle for that thumb and grip. So he's kicking forward as well. Yeah, it does look thumb and grip. So that's another interesting little gripping difference. Here we go 4 fingers in. And this is kind of an interesting, you see this, I commented before about Gianni potentially being influenced by Bernardo Faria, but it turns out Gianni hadn't actually left his previous gym and joined that gym yet, so the direct influence isn't there. But maybe Matt, being a Marcelo Garcia disciple, has had some influence in Bernardo's game. So Keenan, a knee slice is here, but he still has the grip, and you go belly down. And look, we talked about this in a earlier Keenan position where he has the control of this leg, and that's something that you need to watch out for as a knee slicer. You can see Keenan was trying to control the arm but just didn't get sufficient control. And look at the face crank. It's not cranking as much as he would like. As he builds his base up to his knees, I think he's going to get the sweep here. Some awkward moments. Not sure what was going on. Maybe the referee said stop midway through. Stop, go. Pulling a little bit of Herb Dean action. I'm just kidding, sorry. Herb Dean, if you watch the video, I really like you. I remember going to a Herb Dean seminar when I was a white belt. It was probably a Grappler's Quest or something like that. Keenan making the grips and pulling the open guard here. Working a good leg drag pass. And he's got the foot on the bicep. Keenan's got the foot on the bicep. So very aggressive passing by Matt. Interesting. No points. We're in the referee's interpretation. That was from the turtle position and not from the guard. If he had done it probably a little bit faster, hang on, I'll comment on that. If he had probably gone to his belly a little bit quicker, because he stayed on his belly for there, I think maybe he got the points. It looks like Keenan here, working a triangle, it looks like he just had control of the collar and just yanked in and went for a triangle. Didn't look anything other than that. Yeah, got the collar and pulled in for a triangle. It's very simple. I think this is a very good match in terms of what it says. Keenan's a very left coast style grappler. I know Lloyd Irvin, all that stuff is where he got a lot of his skills, but his style is very west coast, and Matt's style is very east coast with Marcelo Garcia and hooks and everything in deep half and all that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting contrast of the different styles in America done at a high level, because I think both of these guys are going to do pretty good things at black belt. He's pulling away and stripping grips. A very nice job. Just jockeying for grips at this point. It looks like we're about to see some action. Keenan working that lapel spider. Now, I can't remember if this was after Jackson Souza. I remember the first time, at least my impression, the first time seeing this particular sequence with the foot on the outside and kind of underneath the armpit was Jackson Souza, but I don't remember the exact timing of each of these matches, so maybe this could have been the first occurrence of it. So this is the third match I remember. So if you're building a catalog of matches to study, if you're interested in that guard, we have the one from Abu Dhabi, we have this one, and then we have the Jackson Souza match. But the Jackson Souza match he wasn't able to get. Actually, I lie, because that exact sequence happened in the Jackson Souza match. He wasn't able. I was gonna say that he didn't able to get anything going from that match, but it almost served as a distraction. Look, he's passing it. He has a 2-on-1 here, and I saw this sequence with Jackson. This is how he swept Jackson. I think is that he was threatening to do the inversion the other way and working that knee bar sweep into the 50-50 and disbalancing forward, or perhaps lapel plata, and then he ended up taking this grip and going all the way back around into the berimbolo. Which is, hang on, let me finish watching the sequence. Yeah, I'm just getting on top. Alright, I said I'd avoid this match, but I don't want to anymore. Keenan versus Jackson Souza. I'd like to take a look at that. Let's cross our fingers and hope that, I get a thumbnail on this one, and I do. Because I remember that exact sequence from this match. Let's give it a moment again. Maybe we can sing a little song. Oh, maybe I can use this time to promote my... Never mind. Yeah, look, this time it's caught underneath. We're getting terrible quality. I'm really, really sorry about that. But if you want, I'm at about 240 in on the Jackson Souza match. We'll back it up a hair so we can kind of see the context in which it's applied. So I think, because I haven't had the context of seeing him enter in this position, I think at this moment he's trying to work for that lapel plata combo. Yeah, now we can see clearly. He's working here. He's working to pivot around, and look, he goes right into the berimbolo sequence. He just abandons the lapel grip. Now the lapel was on the other side of the leg, but you can definitely see a parallel. I think that's going to be a pretty core move if you can't attack the one side. It's going into the other in berimbolo. His foot's still caught in. It's kind of interesting the way he did it here was it was almost like the lapel grip was holding his foot on the hip, which is nice if you can keep the foot on the hip as you're inverting. So a pretty cool parallel that I didn't notice before. And Keenan's coming top on the knee slice. Oh, nice. We get finally the angle I was looking for. I saw it in the small. He first made a... I don't want to go back because we got some good leeway to work with as far as the internet speed. He first made a forefinger in grip, and then he switched right now to the thumb in, which shows me it's not the opposite way around. He didn't make the thumb in grip just because that was the only option. That's where he wants it, because he wants that blade of the arm going in. Yeah, into that face. That doesn't look comfortable. And look how he uses the other hand to adjust. He's trying to pick up that arm. Almost did like a straight arm bar. I wonder if his arm was hurt the next day after kind of locked it out for a moment, stripping that grip. He's going under the leg. That was a little bit of a tactical mistake as far as allowing him to get under the leg, and now we're into the deep half guard series. Yeah, I'm noticing a more Bernardo Faria influence in Matt than Marcelo Garcia at this point, to be honest. Now we saw Keenan's counter against Gianni from the deep half guard. It seems as though he's sitting on his hip again here, and he was able to free his leg and snap over to the mount before. It's a little bit more difficult to see from this angle. It looks like he's trying to turn it back into the knee slice. He's essentially looking to undo what has been done. Dun, dun, dun. And he's able to come up on a single leg. And Keenan pulls guard. He gets his points there. interesting. I don't know Grappler's Quest rules right now, but you have to kind of hold the position for 3 seconds, at least in IBJJF. Same sequence with a 2-on-1 on the gripping here. He's going to strip this grip off. He's going to kick his leg really aggressively, I think. I don't think he should allow that grip. I think he's going to pull it really hard. Half the time I'm wrong on this thing. Hey, sorry guys, my camera has a 30-minute record time. I thought I set an alarm to let me know that the camera was getting a low on record time. So I actually went through the entire match and analyzed it, but without the camera going. So I did see one really interesting thing. There was a couple interesting things that happened, but there was one that really caught my attention that I'd like to share with you guys before it ends. And essentially there was more overhead sweeps from the closed guard that Keenan tried to use. So we'll kind of look at those a little bit. And he used a very, very interesting combination. They were unsuccessful, but he used a very interesting combination into the Leandro guard that I've never seen from anybody before. So I want to kind of share that. Here just working underhook sweep and everything, trying to control the posture. So I'll get the tail end of this match so you can kind of benefit from the points that were the most interesting. So here his opponent stands, and this is the part that I found really interesting, is that he's grabbing the sleeve and the ankle from the closed guard, and he thought about going under, but that wasn't the cool part, is that he's going to try an overhead sweep with these grips. So the same sweeping sequence that we've seen him use before, which is controlling both sleeves, which he's not now, and doing the overhead sweep. He tried it earlier in the time that we missed. And I want you to pay attention to the hand that's grabbing the ankle, because as he disbalances, look at that hand going for that ankle lock. That's a pretty cool combination. Let's take a look at it one more time. So it's going to be hand in the sleeve, grabbing the ankle, disbalancing forward with the Tomonage sweep, with the Holeta sweep, and then as he's basing, slide your hand in a little bit more, kind of in the same vein as we analyzed with Kyotera and Edwin Najmi and in the 5 match, and working the ankle lock. There are some options to do triangle maybe as he comes back on top. He ends up letting it go, but it doesn't really matter that he didn't get it, because he could have got it. It just didn't kind of work out this time. So it's a good technique to try. Now, it's really interesting as well because we see a little bit of the same type of reaction or same type of attacking sequence again, and used to set up kind of the Leandro low position. So double sleeves again, and again you have to kind of wait till your opponent stands up to try this type of stuff. So look, he's making the Leandro low grip on the pants here. He opens his guard, foot on the hip, which is great for Tomonage sweeps, and watch. He tries the Tomonage, which Matt ends up kind of circling to disbalance, but right as it comes undone, he goes right into the Leandro low sweep with the double ankle, which we analyzed before. So if you're just stumbled upon this video, this is part 3, and in part 1 we looked at that sweep in a little bit more detail. So it's kind of interesting because if you just sit there and work just one sweep, the guy's going to be able to time it, maybe leg drag you, maybe free his arm off the bicep, maybe long step out of it, I don't know, whatever the case is. But when you combine it with this kind of interesting Leandro sequence right here, and immediately coming back the foot one on the bicep and going underneath, it kind of loosens the situation up, so he's not just sitting there tough like a rock. And the time ended here. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed part 3 of this Keenan Cornelius dissection. I hope to look soon at some of the practical implementations of some of the knowledge that I've gained out of the study in both myself and my students. Until then, this is Dan Lucart from Brea Jiu-Jitsu. Thanks a lot, guys.